cream of the crop. But it does it better.
Baby, you are so money and you don't even know it.
I understood that reference.
Morning, Mr. Hammond.
Your mission,
should you accept it, steal, destroy, shadow, disappear.
assemble the team.
And here we go.
Greetings and salutations. This is Freewheeling Fridays, where we jump in and we share with you and we introduce some of the best creators from all over the world. And we find out more about them by taking your questions. So if this is your first time here at Freewheeling Fridays, thank you for being here as part of the madness. Yeah. Do not forget to like and share with your closest friends. If you're watching us live or on a replay, thank you for doing so. If you have any questions for our guest of honor who I'm about to introduce to you in just a moment or two, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. More than happy to hear from you. Please join me in welcoming the president and CEO of the fan club for what is a film that's turning 51 this year, believe it or not. The film that coined the phrase summer blockbuster that had lines around the block to see it multiple times in a theater based on a best-selling novel that nobody really likes the novel for it, but they do like the film adaptation of it. Please welcome Bobby Nash, indie writer extraordinaire, to the stage. And he, like I said, he runs the show when it comes to Jaws. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. That is the greatest intro ever.
Is it?
I love that. No, thank you. And I just saw Jaws over the weekend.
Did you?
Yes, and they put it in the theaters for a limited run this past weekend. So
right around the corner from your home. That's great.
Well, yeah, some buddies and I went and we caught a screening on last Saturday. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Last Sunday. Yeah,
it was Sunday. Yeah,
yeah, and we had a blast. Yeah,
man. The only thing that would have made that better is that they aired Jaws 2 immediately after, because that was your first experience with Jaws, was actually seeing Jaws 2 before you even saw the original. Isn't that right?
I did. Yes. I saw it on cable. I spent the weekend at my cousin's house, and they had cable, which we did not at the time.
Right.
And that was, I'm older. That was when cable was prestige. It was a big deal. And while we were in the living room, there was 3 or 4 of us. There was a bunch of kids. And we're all in the living room playing card games or board games or whatever we were doing. And the TV was on, and my aunt and uncle were watching Jaws, the shark movie. And the only thing I remember, what stood out to me, is that scene where the shark grabs the helicopter.
Yes.
And pulls it into the water. And I was hooked. It was there, And it wasn't until many years later that I saw Jaws. And I saw it like on the ABC Sunday night movie. So, it's a little sanitized. So it was then even years later before I saw like the actual, uncut episode, thing. And I was probably in my 40s before I saw it on the big screen. So, yeah. Now it's about a once every other year visit to the theater to go see one of the screenings. But yeah, it's, and hey, it has
still goes.
It's become a thing. I mean, for the 50th anniversary, I was invited to all kinds of events and writing articles. We did a watch-a-thon for the
watch along
show,
yeah, watch along.
And so
that was fun.
I did a whole lot of stuff like that for the 50th anniversary, and it was just a blast. I love the movie. I've never met anybody that's been in it.
Yeah, it's funny.
You would figure after all the cons and everything, but I've never.
You've been to so many shows. Yeah, you've been to so many conventions over the years. You and I have had this Comic-Con career. Mine's been for 15. Yours has probably been for a little longer than that. I'm assuming.
A little longer, yeah.
It's a little longer. So it's amazing to me.
36
37. You've been in the business. Wow.
Well, since I'm doing cons, I started doing I started doing cons right after high school because my parents wouldn't let me go when I was. But once I was out at 18, they're like, we don't care what you do. Go. We don't care. Hell out of the house.
There are no rules anymore.
You want to leave the house? Great. Go.
That's the family telling the youngins to leave the nest.
Yeah, because Dragon Con was my first or second. Because it was weird. Because I did Dragon Con and the Atlanta Fantasy Fair the same year. But I can't remember which was first. Huh. But I remember those were both the same year. And then... Wow. And Dragon Con this year will be their 40th. This will be their 40th.
The 40th show?
Is this Labor Day. So I've been doing 30.
You got to be excited.
Yeah, so I'm 36.
Yeah,
so it's my home show. I've I've been doing it as a guest for a number of years now, but
Wonderful.
before that, I was a fan. And I think I've missed one. There was one year my dad had surgery and it was scheduled the week of.
Right.
And so I didn't go. Turned out he was fine and I could have gone anyway, but
oh, gee willikers.
But still, I still feel I made the right call staying to take care of him.
Well, yeah,
but
of course.
but it's my home con. It's the one.
It's your baby.
Like if I could only do one,
that'd
probably be the one I would pick. And for many reasons. I mean, it's a good business con for me with books and panels and whatnot. But
a lot of familiar faces roaming around too.
It's almost like a family reunion in respects, because there are some people I only see once a year at that event. Right. And so there's a lot of good, fond memories and wonderful things that have happened. I've met some wonderful people who have become great friends. I've met wonderful writers, artists, actors, and some interesting, just funny moments or weird moments, or like when somebody goes, "What was the weirdest thing that happened?" Oh, I got some.
There was this party over at this hotel. That's part of the con. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that happens, but sometimes it's just the unexpected things.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I could do a whole show on that.
Yeah, separate show versus about Bobby Nash's experience as a Dragon Con. Maybe it'll be a memoir coming out soon.
There you go. Yeah,
bookstores everywhere.
Yeah, but it is a fun show, and I love it. And it's
if I ever get the chance, because Dragon Con's been talked about for many, many years. It's one of the biggest shows in the world. Lots of people from all over the world travel to see this show. Lots of people come all over the country. A lot of people selling their books. As you pointed out, the vendors' halls are just massive. So hopefully one of these days, if the opportunity arises and the finances line up, because let's face it, going from Maryland, going from Maryland to Georgia is a really long line. It's like this. So I'm thinking to myself, I need to save up a lot of coin for that. But at the same time, if you get a group of friends to go with you, split the expenses, then it becomes more manageable.
I live an hour away from it, and it's not a cheap trip.
For you,
and it's still not a cheap trip. Hard. Yeah. Trying to come in from where you are, it's not a cheap trip.
Maryland to Georgia, big difference. Big difference.
But by the way, it is a blast.
Kevin Davis says my two favorite people are here. What's up, Kevin Davis? How you doing, buddy boy? Pops says, hey, yo to everybody. What's up, Pops? Hope everything's well with you. And by the way, safe travels and all the transitions and changes you're making in your life right now. So yes, sir, to that. But yeah, for someone who's unfamiliar with the name, because see, here's the thing. People, they react to things, right? So when you yell Barracuda, everyone says, huh? What? You yell Bobby Nash, and then we got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
That's
so
right.
I got to ask you, if someone doesn't know the name Bobby Nash, could you give us a little snippet of who Bobby Nash is?
Yeah, it's my dad. It's my dad. He's a wonderful guy, funny guy. No, the Bobby that is me is a writer, artist, occasional part-time actor, or wannabe actor, background guy, whatever you want to call me. I do a little of that, but I write a lot of books, novels, comics. I got started wanting to be a comic book artist and became a comic book writer instead. That led into doing novels, and you can see a few of my book covers here on the back. It's fun. I get to make stuff up for a living. I get to tell wonderful stories. I get to meet interesting people. I get to travel. So writing these little stories has taken me places I never thought it would, including here.
Yeah, the Freewheeling Fridays, part of the Madness Entertainment Group. What's up, Pops? He said in the chat that he made it safely to his destination. Well, that's good,
Nice.
Pops, because like I said, we were wishing you safe travels because you're making some transitions in your life right now, so we wish you all the best with that. But with those covers behind you, I don't know if you can see this here, but I'm wearing one of your trademark shirts. This is Sheriff Tom Myers, in case anyone's wondering, which I see you have a poster of behind you.
Yes, beautifully rendered by Jeffrey Hayes from Plasma Fire Graphics.
He's the
when
man.
when the look of your book
matters to you. Yes. Wonderful human being. Very busy, as a matter of fact.
Yes, very busy.
He's already stated that he's like tied up for the next 3 years or so he can't take on any new clients.
He is a busy guy. supremely talented.
Oh, he's the man.
Supremely talented.
I mean, look at those posters he put together for you. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, the Snow poster over here.
Oh,
and then the Sheriff Myers poster over here.
Tom Myers.
So, and you can't really see that behind Galactus, but there's some Dante posters.
Right Dante's Reckoning.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but a wonderful human being and a fantastic collaborator and partner. Mm-hmm. And of course, you can just barely see it, but there is a
Evil Ways.
Jaws.
Poster. Yeah, you can't have an office.
There's a Jaws poster in there. Man. So, well, that's been sitting there in that spot since last year when we did the watch along, and I had it sitting behind me on So you can tell how often I clean my office, and this is the clean corner.
Oh, it is
of the office. Yes,
I never would have guessed.
Yes, clean is a nebulous description, but yes. But if you look over there, it looks like a bookstore exploded.
Oh, okay.
So it's.
Nothing wrong with having books in one's collection. Lord knows I got almost, how many are we looking at now, guys? What is it? What's the number? I think it was 160, 170, maybe even 180 at this point of TBR books, which is pathetic.
My problem is it's wonderful until you need to find one book in particular.
And you can't find it.
And you can't find it. And you know it's here. But yeah. So
it's just
book person problems.
Yeah, that's it's one of those it's one of those things. I was thinking about this because later on this year, I think it's in the fall season of 2026, in the month of September, myself, I can't speak for everybody, but if you're interested, there are a group of us are going to be at RetroCon in Oaks, Pennsylvania, September 12th and the 13th. Tickets are available now. The guest list is amazing. People from Michael Winslow to Steve Guttenberg. And speaking of 80s television or 80s movies, because this is something I came to be a fan of within the last few years. And Bobby, you're familiar with this one. Peter Peros and Rebecca Holden from Knight Rider are going to be at RetroCon. And not only are they going to be at RetroCon, they're going to have a replica of Kit the car, and then they're also going to have a replica. This is by the way, this is the first time this is ever going to debut at a convention ever in the history of conventions. This is the first time this is ever going to debut. They're going to have a replica of the Flag mobile unit, the trailer, the big, massive 18-wheeler trailer. Which, by the way, Flag stands for Foundation for Law and Government. Okay,
and also with Rebecca, she was also on the A team. So you gotta go double whammy because she was on the A team.
She was on A team. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I like it when a plan comes together. Anyway.
Yeah, she did a lot of other stuff too, but those were the two biggies.
Yeah. And I watched reruns.
She did A-Team. She was on a nighttime one of the soaps. I forget which one.
She was on As the World Turns, maybe.
No, one of the nighttime ones.
Oh, so like Dynasty or
something like. She was on one of those. I think was probably what she's most known for. But in our circles, it's
Dallas.
It's
Dallas. Dynasty. What was the other one? Falcon Crest was another one.
Knots Landing, things like that.
Knots Landing was another.
It was one of those. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's cool. Good for her. I'll have to pick her brain about that. But yeah, no, they're gonna have a replica of the Flagmobile with all the gadgets and gizmos that were in the trailer. So if you're a Knight Rider fan or an 80s fan, which I know Bobby is.
And that was good because those two actors did most of their stuff in that trailer.
They did, yes. Yeah, Rebecca Holden was April Curtis. Yeah. And then Peter Peros was RC3. Yep. As he liked to call himself.
Yeah, because they came in after Patricia McPherson left.
We just found out it's Patricia McPherson.
Okay. Yeah, because she kind of booked in it because she was there, she left, they came, they left, and she came back.
It was all over the place. It was 80s craziness. Everybody was on everybody else's show, and people were doing this, that, and the other. So, who knows, right? But yeah, they're going to have that at RetroCon. Awesome. So the main reason I'm going is for Rebecca, Peter, and obviously to see the exhibit that is Knight Rider, because Knight Rider is freaking awesome. The car is amazing. You can have your picture taken in the car. You can have your picture taken in the trailer, the Flagmobile. Yeah. So that man, that's going to be something. Yeah. And the only thing I ask is that they play the dun, 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 dun.
I suspect you'll be sick of it by the weekend.
Not only with the theme song, Bobby, but I want them to have the narration. Knight Rider, a trail to a dangerous world in the life of a man who does not exist. I want to hear all that. Honestly, I want to hear it all. It's fun. But yeah, no. So I could go on and on about this because 80s is kind of a thing.
Mhm.
Granted, I was born at the tail end of it, but I don't care
Yep.
because a lot of my favorite movies came out in the 80s. So
Well,
qualms.
you know who did that narration you just mentioned? That was Richard Basehart, who was the admiral on Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
I did not know that.
He's in the first. He played Winton Knight in the pilot.
Oh, pilot.
He's the guy. He's the guy that does all the built Kit and Michael and got Michael.
Oh.
So he was the knight.
The knight,
and he dies and leaves it all for Michael
to take over.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I almost forgot about. I kind of forgot.
Yeah,
about
a lot of those nerdy kind of connections. And of course it's done by the guy that did Battlestar Galactica. So Kit's is from the Cylons and the red light.
Because I remember the commercial for the original BSG when it came out on Diva Attack, and it had that. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Did you hear about the documentary that's coming out called Knight Rider Declassified?
I did. I saw a trailer on YouTube.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's like a 5-hour documentary, extensive documentary on the making of the show, the changes that were made midway through, and how they got it off the ground, and how some people, potentially were going to count it out before it even got started because of the car and how difficult it was to maintain all of it. I mean, gosh, what a journey that was.
And if you were a fan of, especially around our ages, in our age range, the 80s, it was about the vehicle, because
Magnum PI
had the
A-Team.
Ferrari, the A-Team had the van, there was Airwolf. I mean, everybody
Airwolf, yes.
They were working everything around vehicles, and the vehicles were, because it was great too, because it was smart for them for the marketing.
It was fun.
That's stuff to sell.
Toys. Yeah.
I remember my dad and I, when I was a kid, we put together all kind of models.
Really?
Model cars, and
Model
it was
cars.
Kit and the A-Team van and things like that. And everybody wanted one of those cool cars. And it wasn't just that. I mean, we had the Dukes of Hazzard car was always jumping.
Bo and Luke Duke,
Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo and the Clan had the
Mystery Machine.
Gang had the Mystery Machine. And,
what's his name? Do you remember? What was it? It was Speed Racer.
Yeah, Speed Racer had the Mach 1.
Mach 1.
So
Speed Racer?
was.
Remember that?
Speed Racer. So that was stuff. We loved that stuff growing up.
So many cars. Did you have a briefcase full of cars? Like, did you have a box full of cars? Like
I had a box full. I played with mine, so they weren't like carefully curated. I took them out. I took out the box, dumped it, played, threw them back in the.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you had a box full.
I had a box full of cars. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a briefcase full of them. Actually, I had a briefcase that was a Hot Wheels briefcase. It had little slots that you could put each car in.
Oh, very nice.
I don't know if you remember. Yeah, that came out in the 90s.
I think I had one of those, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember I had one at one time for action figures.
Yeah.
They did one around the Star Wars size action figure.
Oh, the Kenner.
G.I. Joe.
The Kenner. Yeah.
Yeah, you could. It was the same thing. I think it was a suitcase, and there were individual slots, and you could stick the figure in there and then close the. They called it a briefcase, but it was like soft plastic.
Well, it was like a
and
something to carry around.
It was like laminated
plastic or something like that.
Cardboard, like laminated
cardboard. Yeah.
But I love that stuff.
Those were fun.
Yeah, I remember that was my childhood.
I remember some of the Hot Wheels commercials too. Those were fun. Those were fun to watch. I remember
had the tracks with the
the ones that go loopy loops and jumps. The ones that went off the Yeah, those are some good times, brother. Yeah.
I played with all kinds of stuff like that when I was a kid. None of it survived.
Oh, none of it survived. That's unfortunate.
No, there's very few. There's a few things obviously survived from childhood, but my toys, I played with them. I was rough on them. And,
oh boy.
Some I replaced years later.
Oh, years later, you said.
Yeah. Well, like a buddy of mine, I had talked on a podcast about the toys. We were talking about toys that were a big part of our life. And
toys.
My two favorite figures as a kid was Destro and Boba Fett.
Oh gosh.
And I didn't have like full sets. So when I played with my figures, they mixed and matched. And so I came up with this, and this was probably my first little bout of storytelling, although I didn't realize it at the time. I came up with this whole plan because I also had a ship, a toy ship. And so in my head, Destro was tired of Cobra Commander's crap, and Boba Fett was tired of the Empire's crap. So they steal this shuttle and they take off for adventures as a team, a bounty hunting team. And I started having all these adventures with my backyard being, various alien planets and things like that. And they were a lot of fun, but I did end up destroying those characters.
Did you ever, when you had the Boba Fett figure, did you ever, when you were playing with the figures, just, as your imagination is running wild, did you ever drop the line, "He's no good to me, did"? Yeah, did you ever drop some Boba Fett lines?
I'm sure I probably did. I'm sure I probably did. Because I'd seen the movies. I mean,
a lot to me.
Yeah.
The Empire will compensate you if he dies. Put him in. Anyway.
Yeah, but I learned that they don't survive. They don't always survive your death traps.
Well, that's another thing.
My dad had left one of those caulk guns.
Yes.
Where you used to put the thing in it and you click them and they
click it. Yeah.
Well, if you turn it up sideways, it's the ceiling coming, and I clicked it one time too many and Destro exploded.
I'm sorry to hear that about Destro. That's unfortunate.
Yes. R.I.P. We had a Viking funeral in the backyard. It was wonderful,
She willikers. By the way, this is Freewheeling Fridays on the Madness. Don't forget to like and share. If you have any questions for our sanity, let us know in the comments.
That's right. It's not action figure. It's not action figure episode. It's just,
Well, I'm just saying if you want to geek out about other stuff too.
Yeah, we just went in a.
Yeah, we went on a tangent. Madness says all good shows had a beastly car from the Munsters to today. Yeah, that's very true. By the way, Jeff is here. He says, "What's poppin', boys?"
Hey,
what's up, Jeff? Pitabana, one of the greatest writers of all time. Give this man a follow. Check out his
Absolutely.
Stuff.
Check out his books.
He writes westerns. He writes horror because he's a fan of both genres, respectively. By the way, so if you're into something that goes bump in the night, check out Jeff Pitabana on Amazon. He's got tons of books out right now. He's even got a few. He actually spoke to him the other day. He's got like 3 or 4 that are going to be coming out in the next couple of months. So, well done, Jeff. Stop making me look bad.
And I met him doing one of your shows.
You did,
yes.
Yeah. And as soon as that happened, you guys just formed this brotherly bond. And then he texts. I put this in the Discord that we were doing the show this week, and he's like, "I'm going to do my best to pop in for that one." I'm like, "Well, it's Bobby Nash. How can you say no?" Raul in T Drawing says, "We'll be popping tonight." Yeah, of course we are. Hey, what's up? Raul, good to see you. Hope everything's well in your neck of the woods, good sir. Madness says, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has Lola and a bus. Yeah, that's the Marvel MCU TV universe side of things. That is for sure. What's he say? Jeff says, "I'm working on a new set of horror stories to be released in October, because why wouldn't you not release them in October?" Working title is Pulp Terrors, and it's
good title.
Great to see you, Bobby, says Jeff.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. No, Pulp. I love that title, Pulp Terrors. That's really cool.
Because Brian K. Morris has a book that's coming out called The Terrors Volume 2. Yeah.
Yep. That is a story. It is Brian's re-envisioning of the old public domain comic book character, the Black Terror. Yes. Yeah. Brian has put his own spin on it and does a very wonderful spin on it. Yeah, I've read the first book. I haven't read the second one yet, but I read the first one. Really excellent read.
It was good.
Also have those nice Jeffrey Hayes covers on them as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And, but the Black Terror was a fun old comic strip. I actually wrote a Black Terror thing years ago.
Did you?
That never saw the light of day, but it was still fun to write. We wrote a comic where we were going to kind of modernize part of it, but we were going to keep bringing from the World War II, and some modern stuff, and so it was fun. It was fun. Never happened. I mean, it was written, but it never came out. But it was fun researching the character.
Yeah. No, that's speaking of classic pulp like characters. Can we expect any more Domino Lady?
There are currently,
because Domino Lady that's an intriguing character.
There are currently 3 different comic book Domino Lady series that I wrote in the hands of the artists for the various books. 2 of them are 5-part stories that are 8 pages a piece. That'll be backup stories and then get collected. So those, one of them's a team up, one of them with a bunch of characters, one basically like a Domino Lady Marvel team up style. The other one is just a story with her and Judgment, who I've written them together a few times. And the other one is a 4-parter that's a 4-issue miniseries where she will deal with another fairly famous villain that she will deal with. I'm not going to say who because the publisher hadn't said it, so I'll wait till they say it. But yeah,
NDAs.
Yeah, but they're written. They've been written a while, so I don't know where in the process they are, but they are, out there and working. So yeah, so I'm using the last to know. Once I'll know they're out when somebody says, "Hey, book's out tomorrow." Great, okay. So
I'll plug it on my social media for you, among others, of course.
But yeah, she's fun. I've also written. There's also a couple of short stories I've written over the years that are in the hands of the publisher. I don't know where they'll show up. And I suspect they'll either want to do another novel or another anthology, and hopefully they will call. So I enjoy writing her as often as I'm able.
Well, speaking of Domino Lady, Jeff says Bobby turned me on to Domino Lady on this show, and I've become a big fan. I recently discovered another masked pulp heroine called, is that Senorita Scorpion?
Senorita Scorpion, yes.
Really? And then Old West pulp hero, like a woman or a female version of the Lone Ranger. Is that okay?
Yes.
I don't know who this character is. So Bobby, give us, the audience, a 411 on who exactly is Senorita Scorpion.
She just like he said, she is pretty much like a female Lone Ranger Zorro type. But yeah, she's I've read a little bit of hers because a few years ago, another writer and I were going to do actually a modern day version, Senorita Scorpion, who takes her inspiration from the original, who teams up with Domino Lady. For various reasons, it never got off the ground, but we were going to do that. So I researched Senorita Scorpion. Although the other writer was going to be taking most of that on because she was going to write the ongoing Senorita Scorpion books, but didn't happen. But yeah, she's very much a, Wild West, think of in terms of Zorro or the Lone Ranger, those type of stories. Yeah, and that was her. She was in Mexico and Texas and those areas, fighting the good fight, as the best pulp characters do.
Goodness gracious. I'm looking on social media. Unfortunately, I can't share these images because I'm using an internet browser that doesn't allow me to do that. But I will say, I'm looking at some of these covers for past iterations of Senorita Scorpion, and I'm thinking, yeah, this could definitely work. And the other thing is, I don't know if this is the right casting choice, if they were going to make this a live-action television series or a movie series. But 30 years ago, I would have said Salma Hayek. 100%. I mean, granted, she looks drop dead gorgeous in her mid 50s now, but
it's a lot harder to do the running and jumping when you're in your mid 50s.
True, but when I'm thinking, I'm definitely seeing Salma Hayek play this character, especially if you take sort of the character that she was in the movie Desperado with Antonio Banderas. She was bit. She's a shopkeeper, so she doesn't really want to get into any trouble, and then she has to kind of take action, during the second half of that movie between her and Antonio Banderas. I could see her doing this, Senorita Scorpion. So I can either see Salma Hayek or Penelope Cruz. Could have done it at one point. There's a few actresses, but yeah, I'm looking at these covers and I'm thinking this is an interesting storyline. I like to read this sometime.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably someone has reprinted the old ones. You can probably find them fairly reasonably.
Yeah, I gotta look that up. Jeff, if you know of any of this, drop the link in the comments so Bobby and I can look at it. Because Jeff, he's good with research. He knows what he's doing. I mean, Jeff is just a master at this point. Honestly, like he drops so many of these fun facts in our writers Discord. By the way, just to catch everybody up to speed, this is the men's adventure fiction Discord that we're in. And Jeff will say, "Oh yeah, there's this writer from the 30s. He wrote this character that's very well known." Blah, blah, blah. Like he just drops all these random fun facts on our keisters, Bobby Nash. And I got to tell you, I'm thinking to myself, Jeff, are you even human? Like, are you a machine? Because you know so much shiznit about the pulp era of the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 20s, whatever. It's just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Well, you know how it is, the writer's brain. We get so much of this, or at least this is how it works for me. I get all this information. It goes into this little box in the back of my head.
Yeah.
And the information's there. My problem is getting it out. It's, when someone, like, I know the information until you ask me about it. And then my brain has to go through these mental gymnastics to figure out, okay, I know I'm thinking this, but my brain won't get there. But then my brain goes, well, that's connected to this. And I start going, oh, it's kind of like that 6 degrees of thing. And I start doing all this stuff to get to the information that's in there.
Yeah.
If you didn't ask me, I'd pop that stuff off all day. But as soon as someone asks me about specific information, my brain, my hard drive seizes up,
Yeah. So in other words, don't ask Bobby Nash any questions.
Don't ask me any
so
questions.
Here's the thing. Yeah. Jeff says, Bobby, I've had no luck with the Lone Ranger's rights holders for my idea specifically, but you should pitch them to Senorita Scorpion Lone Ranger team up. I got an Amazon set of reprints of the OG Senorita Scorpion. Well, Jeff, if you have any extras laying around, let me know. Send them my way. I'll read the heck out of them. And if you run into any at a used bookstore, let me know. Because I'm curious. You got me curious now, brother. So there you go. Yeah, pitch your idea for a Senorita Scorpion Lone Ranger team up. That would be sick. That would be nice.
They would be good together. I check to see who still, if the publisher I work with that I wrote the loan still has the rights. I'll have to check.
That's a good question.
Because rights, those kind of
things,
change
so much.
Yeah, I've had that happen a few times. I write something, and before it can come out, the rights go somewhere else. It's like, oh, we can't do anything. Can we turn it into something else? Which is a very pulp thing to do. But, yeah.
Well,
and you never throw anything away. Like, even if you get to a point you go, oh, I can't use it, you still tuck it away. And then later, because you never know, as a writer, you never know when some publisher or editor is going to call you up and go, hey, I need a pitch for something like right now. And you have to have things stored away in there. Like, have I ever told you how Snow was created?
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, yeah. You've told me that story and other shows that we've been on together.
Yeah, and so Snow was that way. It was like a publisher was like, I need a pitch. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And so I had pulled 3 different partial ideas that I had in the back of my head, and I shoved those 3 together. And I, to this day, don't know where the name Snow came from, because it was not an idea I had. It's like, and the guy goes, so what's his name? Snow. And it just came out of nowhere. And it has turned out to be one of the well received books I've written, or characters I've written. So it's just, but sometimes we have to have those things in the back of our head. I've got plots for characters I will never be asked to write, but they're still in there just in case.
Yeah. What just popped in there? That's what they say about Ray and Ghostbusters. But anyway,
it's like I'm never going to be invited to write the Hulk, but I've got
Spider-Man.
But I've got one. There's one in there.
I mean, Spider-Man is your favorite character, so
Spidey was the guy that got me into reading comics. Yes,
Spider-Man. Spider-Man does whatever. I still got that 60s. Yep. That 60s theme, man. That thing plays in my brain sometimes. That was fun.
That was my introduction to Spider-Man. They would play reruns when I would come home from schools or during the summer. The reruns were playing, and so when I'd get home from school, while I'm there with my snack, and before Mom ran me outside to play, I would watch Spider-Man, and then she would. I remember there was a time. I remember I came home and one of our upper channels local channels. They played the Amazing the 60s Spider-Man and an episode of Batman every day. And I would watch those 2, and then Mom would usher me outside. And then I was an only child until I was 9. And so I'm in the backyard by myself playing. So I would play what I had watched on TV. And so my mother used to love to tell people, my son is crazy. I look out the window and he's running around the backyard going, psst, psst. You know, Tom Holland gets paid a lot of money to do that. I get laughed at when I do it, but it's, but my mother would, but that was, you know, when you're playing on your own, or that the imagination kicks in. Between those two things and Star Trek, I would play those outside. Or if we got to ride our bikes out on the road, then you're playing chips, you know, that kind of thing. Speaking of vehicles from the 70s and 80s.
Oh, the California highway.
The motorcycles, you know. Yeah, that was cool. We would, me and my cousins would get out when we were at my grandfather's, and we would ride our bikes up and down the street. And that's what we were. We were the cops. We were the chips, and you know. And we were all fighting over which one of us got to be Punch, you know, because Punch was cool. Yeah, so.
Good times. This has been a good time so far on Freewheeling Fridays. Don't forget to like and share. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. You mentioned snow earlier. Let me go back to the snow for a second, because if you have not read the series known as Snow, you have got to get on it now, because in my opinion, and I've read some books over the years, I have, Snow is the best. It is the most fun, but it's also like it could get dangerous at times, because it is. Mm-hmm. And by the way, and I'm not just saying this because he's here. I'm saying, I've said this behind closed doors. I've said this to friends of mine who are readers. I've said this to by people in the Discords that I'm in. You have to read Bobby Nash's series known as Snow. Why? Because if you're a fan of properties like Burn Notice, if you're a fan of properties like Die Hard or 24 or Magnum or Rockford Files, any of that stuff, even Knight Rider to a degree. I mean, it doesn't have the smart car, but it does have the fun, getting into
the
trouble,
do-gooderiness,
the do-gooder, yeah. So you have like similar elements of those shows from way back when in this series, because, and by the way, I've said this to you before, but I'm going to say it again. The fact that, and for those of you who've experienced this, you know what I'm about to say. So when you pick up a book and you turn it over and it has a synopsis of the book, it tells you who the writer is, maybe a little bit about the writer or the publisher or whatever. But when you see critiques of a book and you see your name on the back of that book that says, this book series is a combination of Burn Notice meets Diary meets 24, and it says your name right after that quote, because it's in quotation marks, and then it says by so-and-so, I honestly, Bobby,
you wrote a good quote.
Yeah, I wrote.
It was a good review, and I was like, I like that. Can I use that?
You snapped it up with those Bruce the Shark jaws of yours, and you said, I'm going to use this. I'm not going to kill this kid, but I'm going to use his words. I'm going to slap him on the back of my book. So when you pick up the latest book within the series of Snow called Snow Island, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, it's on the back of Snow Island and Snow Hunt, I believe. Yes.
Oh, Snow Hunt? Okay. Yep. I got to double check that. But yeah, if you pick up Snow Island, which is the latest part of the series, turn it over and you see it's part this, that, and the other. It'll say Ryan and I quote. Yep. And I'm like, holy crap. I'm not just a published author, which happened, in the summer of last year, but I'm also a published critic. Which, I mean, listen, I wrote for my campus newspaper when I was in college. So I was a columnist. So my name was, on a bunch of articles, Bobby, which, in school, that's fine. That's fine. People can do that. It's not an issue. But when I'm on the back of somebody's book, that is an ongoing series. Mm-hmm. And my name is up in lights along with everyone else, which, by the way, you've added a lot of great quotes over the years from different colleagues of yours, critics, whatever. That makes if your name ends up on something like that, you're in an elite group, man. Like, you're in an elite group of people, because to get your name on the back of a book, let alone your name on the cover of a book, if you've written it and published it or whatever else, because being a writer is no joke. And if you get a book published, consider yourself one of the fortunate ones in this business, because it is an extremely difficult task. There's a lot of moving pieces to that puzzle. Yes. Which I'm going to learn as I go through this, because I'm at a bit of a different stage of my writing career than Bobby. Bobby, you've been doing this forever. So with me, I'm a rookie at this. I'm very green, but I'm learning as I go. Like they say in Raiders, I don't know. I'm making this up as I go, and I'm learning.
Me too.
No, you're not. No, you are not making this up as you go. No, you're not. No, you are a system. You have a plan of attack, and you do it. You execute it very, very well. Because I've seen your books. I've seen the covers, which, by the way, Jeffrey Hayes, PlastifireGraphics.com. Look up the website. Look up his catalog, because his book covers will knock you on your ass. And here's another thing for Jeffrey Hayes. Every cover that I've seen him do, it doesn't matter if I've read that person's book or not, it looks like a movie poster.
Mm-hmm.
That's how professional. Like, it looks like something that Drew, Struzan or whatever, like some of these big name people who are artists that have made promotional materials over the years. Bobby, when I look at the Snow series, I feel like I'm going to see an episode of Burn Notice or like just like a Die Hard movie, but it looks so good.
Yeah, I don't have it within easy
Where
reach.
is it?
But
Where is it?
But Jeffrey did a poster early on before he started doing the book covers, where he was like, "I'll do you a generic poster, so you'll have a snow poster."
Oh, is that the military one?
That's with the helicopter and the car.
Oh, the military, the camouflage, but
I was like, "This is your idea of like generic." It's got helicopters, cars, jets, missiles, explosions,
military personnel.
Yes, someone being attacked, people with guns, and I'm like,
military vests.
It's gorgeous, but it's so I have
it's around here somewhere.
It's in the mess somewhere. Yeah.
Well, the good news is if you want to get it, you can own it and put it on a T-shirt, because it is available in the Plastifier Graphics T-shirt shop on tpublic.com, which is where I got this. By the way, this is where I got the, where is it? There it is. Tom Myers right here. Booyah. By the way, if you're in the mood for something that's a little bit more they're all grounded in reality, but Tom Myers difference to me is that Tom Myers is grounded a lot more in reality to a degree, because it's more street, hustle, Longmire, Justified, and once again, I got the Longmire theme playing in the back of my mind, that guitar riff.
Yeah. Book 4 of Tom Myers will be out sometime later this year. It's written. It's in edits right now.
Oh, it is.
So, yes, it is called, what is it called?
Sweet Nothings.
Sweet Nothings. Thank you. Sweet Nothings.
See, I know a thing or two about you because I follow your newsletter.
And it's, so that one's in edits now. It'll be out sometime later this year.
Yes.
Not only is it book 4 of Sheriff Myers' own series, but it's also a sequel to Evil Ways.
Ooh.
Because some of the that's where Sheriff Myers first appeared.
Yes.
But some of the characters who appeared in that show up in the new one. And so yes, it's a bit of a sequel to that and to book 3. But so those are fun. So that'll be out. And I just today started writing the next Snow book. So yes, I worked on the opening chapter today.
Ooh. Do we have, not to give too much away here, but do we have a working title for the next installment of the Snow series?
We do. It is called Snowbird.
Snowbird. Okay.
And much like what we talked about with vehicles, it is about an advanced helicopter.
So there's going to be a little bit of tribute to Airwolf here.
Kind of, yes, but that's where the bird part comes in.
What was the oh gosh, there was another movie. It was or not
Blue Thunder.
Blue Thunder, that's it.
Yep.
So you're going to have a combination of Airwolf, Blue Thunder mixed in with the Snow.
Right. Yeah. So universe. Similar. Yeah. So that. Yeah. And chapter 1 picks up with him getting off the plane from Hawaii.
Oh boy.
With Snow Island. And he's getting off the plane, and something happens, and
he gets called away to. And there's a C2A, which means call to action.
That's right.
Call to
something.
action.
Yes, something happens. Like it starts right after he gets off the plane.
It's like, I just had a really good vacation over there on that island, even though I got in a little bit of trouble with some sharks, but I'm okay. I didn't get killed. Bruce the shark didn't kill me. And my friend,
the next thing you know, someone sidles up next to you and says, "Get in the car."
Get in the car. It could be that. I don't know. Congrats, that's awesome. Can't wait to find out more because, like I said, if anyone is a proponent of the Snow series, it's this guy. Like I will shout this name from the rooftops to the end of my days.
Well, and there's a slightly. This will be. Because I've been they're novellas is how we've been releasing them,
which is a great length, by the way.
Right. Well, unfortunately, because of the rise in paper costs and Amazon changing,
which I've read about, by the way,
it isn't feasible to put them at a low price point. So now they've kind of, the price has kind of gotten too high for a novella. So after book 9, which is Snowbird, that'll give me enough for a full collection.
Yes, it will.
You know, because I collect every 3.
Yep.
Book 10 will be a novel.
Oh.
So start after book 9, they'll go from being novellas to novels.
Sounds good to me. You know where my money's going.
Right. So I'll give you an exclusive unless I change my mind.
Go ahead. I'm all ears.
The first Snow novel, book 10, will be called Snow Trouble. I have already written one of the chapters.
Oh boy.
Something happens to one of the characters that I dreamt this scene, and I woke up and I had to write it down. So I wrote it like 3 and 4 in the morning, sitting on the side of my bed.
Are you serious? Wow.
I wrote it on my phone.
On your phone.
This entire chapter, because it's so good, but it's also heartbreaking and devastating and just some good stuff. Good stuff with one of the characters. But yeah, so Snow Trouble will be book 10. Now, when that happens, I still have to write book 9. But sometimes you jump ahead, because I've already written like 3 or 4 chapters of the next Sheriff Myers book before I wrote the one that just is in edits now. Because sometimes you get, when the ideas and the characters start talking to you and says, this happens to me. If I don't write it down, I'm never going to remember it. It will get lost in that jumble of my brain. So you write those things down. And so sometimes that means you're writing things for the next book before this book. And yeah, it's craziness. It's chaos up in here. But I think that's all of us. I think if you ask any writer, we all have a little bit of that, where there's a lot of just conflicting and, you know,
lots of ideas.
The writer's brain is kind of like that old meme of the couple walking and the guy turns and looks at the other girl.
Yeah.
We're constantly, and so like we're with the project that's due now.
Yeah, and then you turn around and
but we're watching all these other ideas that keep coming to us.
I love it.
And so I do, it happens all the time, and I'll get these ideas and I'm like, I'll start writing it down to get it out of my head. And I've written, the next thing you know, you've written a chapter or 2. And then it's like, okay, you can go sit over here, and then I'll go back to work on the stuff that I have to do right now. So, but that's half the fun. As frustrating as it is sometimes, it's half the fun. And I don't know where those ideas come from. I don't know why they picked the moments they picked to talk to me. But oh my God, I hope they never stop.
Yeah.
It's because sometimes we get ideas for things,
creativity,
that we have no idea where they go. We don't have, sometimes I'll get a plot idea, or a character will start talking to me, and I have no idea where this character goes or what they do or whatever it is. They talk to you. And so, because like when I wrote Evil Ways, which was my first published novel, it was the second one I wrote. The first one was crap, but it was the first one that published. I had no intention of using Summersville, any of the cops. Harold, the main character, I planned to use again, but I had no intention of revisiting any of the other characters. I don't know why, but in my head, that was the decision, was up. These are one and dones. Then I wrote Deadly Games, and it's a different main characters. But there's a point where they have to go to a small town outside of Atlanta. And this little voice in my head goes, you've already created one of those. Why create a new one? Just use it. So I said, okay, I'll use Somerville again, but I won't use any of the other characters. They don't need it. They're not part of this. But as I'm writing the story, this little voice just kept whispering in my ear, in any other book, this is when you would call the cops. Somebody would have called the cops by now. And so Tom Myers and his deputies wormed their way into my novel as secondary characters again. And then after that, I'm like, okay, I've used them twice. We're good. But ever so often, Tom Myers would keep whispering in my ear, I'm still here. I want to, when do I get my story? The character is, I know I sound like a lunatic, but he's in my head whispering, when do I get mine? And it took about 10, 12 years, I guess. And a plot came to me, and in my head, Tom Myers says, that's mine. And sure enough, he was right. And then that opened the floodgate. Once he had one story, he started telling me others. And so now book 4 is written, book 5 is in production.
My goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
But it's one of those weird things. And I'm sure your characters do the same to you. Or Jeff, I'm sure Jeffrey does the same to him. They start talking to you. Because they stop becoming characters after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And they become real people. I mean, they're not fit, flesh and bone real people. But to me, Tom Myers is a person. I hear his voice. I know what his voice sounds like. I know what he does. I know him like I know you, to me, he's like a real person. So when I go to write him, I don't decide what they do. I decide, when I come up with a situation, then I'm like, how would Tom handle it? Because I know Tom. How would he handle it? And then the story comes about by Tom telling me what he will do. And sometimes it's not what Bobby the writer wants Tom the character to do. Sometimes it's the opposite, which makes my life a little more difficult. But the end result is we get this wonderfully character bit in the books. And 9 times out of 10, the book is better for it because it wasn't what I planned, but the characters had a better idea than I did.
Good points. Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, no, I got to get better at doing this. I have so many ideas. I've only written some of them down on paper. Others I need to sit down and write on paper. That's something I need to improve within myself. And you mentioned how long it takes to put together a certain book. I just learned there's a new writer on the scene. Her name is Lindsay Goodpaster. You can find her on Instagram. I think it's L Goodpaster Writes. And she wrote a YA story called Secrets of Westview. And she stated in her Instagram stories, because she's trying to get the marketing and the promotion of the book out because it just came out recently, which, by the way, congratulations to you, Lindsay, on the release of your book, Secrets of Westview. Fantastic first book out. That's fantastic. A new author on the scene. You're making an impact, positive one. And it's fantastic. And her Instagram account is very, very well done. She's constantly telling people about the book or how she came up with ideas for certain characters within the context of the book and whatever else. She stated that it took her over 6 years to get this book out, to put all the pieces together, make sure all the stars were aligned, and she had obviously had to go through an editor and a publisher, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. 6 years. 6 years.
Evil Ways took me 6 months to write.
See?
And then I tweaked it for 6 years while I tried to sell it.
See?
So I spent 6 years working on it.
It's a journey. It's a journey out there. So congrats to anybody who's gotten a book out there. Lindsay just put hers out recently, which, by the way, Lindsay's going to be a guest in the future on Anti-Quote in our Anti-Quote studios, and that's number 1. Number 2, I do plan on buying her book because I want to sit down and read it. It's a YA about a school that's holding a lot of secrets, and one of the students is trying to figure out what exactly is going on here. Something's not right. I want to figure out why this school is so strange. Like there's secrets everywhere. So she's trying to figure out what's going on. And it sounds like a really good book. I mean, yeah, it's YA, but I don't care. I've read
a good
YA.
Story is a good story.
I've read classics. I've read this, I've read that, and the other. I mean, heck, I just read something for the first time where I was a beta reader for, and you got to visit her on Instagram, MN Carita Writes. MN Carita Writes. For her full name is Maya. That's her name. And she wrote a story called The Way of the Warden, and she was looking for beta readers. And she came to me and said, "Look, you've been following me on Instagram for a while. I really would appreciate your input on this. Would you be willing to read my story? You would be a beta reader in this instance. Would you be interested?" And I said, "I've never been a beta reader before. How exactly does this work?" And then she explained it to me and what the mechanics of it are. And I was like, "Oh, okay. So you're basically just reading it as a reader, not as an editor. Just read the story, see if it fits, make sure the vibe is good, the pace is good, the dialogue makes sense to you, blah, 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 blah."
You're like the test audience.
To a certain degree, yes. So I read it, Bobby, and I read it in probably less than 2 weeks. I think I read it in like a week. and I freaking loved it. And this is a story that is set in ancient, like feudal Japan. It's got elements of monsters, the mythology of it all. You got a former samurai who's now a warden, and he's trying to look for redemption. And obviously, I like any character who carries a sword because swords are awesome. Let's not kid ourselves, Bobby. Swords are awesome. We're looking at you, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. So, speaking of the 80s, Bobby.
Now, I do have.
Is it Storm Shadow or who's the other guy?
I do
Snake
have
Eyes.
this one.
Oh, look at that. It's Snake Eyes to a certain degree. See, you have one. I don't. I have lightsabers. Those are my swords.
I have, now these are not within reach, but I do have a Duncan MacLeod and a blade sword somewhere.
You son of a
yeah
Highlander fan. I love Highlander. I love the movie because you know why? Because it can only be one.
And that's what it is. That's the first movie one where it's the big one with MacLeod on the. I bought it years ago at a con. Yeah.
See, and I wish you would have bought in 2 of those because I would have liked one.
Yeah.
Because I like Highlander.
Yeah, it's the one he sticks in the ground at the end of the movie. It's like the Mark Gray. Yeah. And then I have a blade one from the first, the Wesley Snipes.
The Wesley Snipes blade?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's heavy. It's all metal. It's like just one big fabricated piece.
It is metal.
It's really heavy. Yeah. Even the hilt, the handle is all metal. It's very heavy, but it's nice. They're here somewhere.
Somewhere in the, you know what, Bobby? All your stuff out there belongs in a museum. But anyway, see what I did there? But Jeff says, give me a sec. I'll hook you boys up with the link according to Senorita Scorpion. So that's what he meant by that. And then he goes on to say, the other day I got an idea for one of my short stories in my upcoming collection, and I sat and spent 2 days writing it instead of editing and writing the other 2 things I was working on. So, Bobby, I get it.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely because you don't want to lose that stuff because because you can forget it. You don't want to forget it. But also you still have to do your other stuff. So it's like, it's there's a little give and take, but I get asked all the time, you were talking earlier about, the time it takes to do all this stuff.
A lot of time.
And because I get people all the time, it's like, how long does it take to write a novel? And I was like, well, it's different for everybody. I hear people, because I'll get like,
it takes as long as it takes.
Yeah. Like I'll get people tell me, oh, well, I have a full-time job. I can't write a novel. I was like, I wrote my first novel, my first published novel. I wrote it 30 minutes a day, sitting in my car on my lunch break, eating a bologna sandwich, eating a bologna or whatever kind of sandwich I took that day.
That's old school right there.
I would go sit in my car with my laptop.
Oh my goodness.
And I would write for 30 minutes a day. Well, I probably not even 30 because you still had to walk out and walk back,
Oh, and go back to the car.
20 minutes a day, 5 days a week, I would spend writing, and I wrote my first novel 20 minutes a day. I'd work on it on the weekends if I could, but at the time I was working 2 jobs, I had a full-time job, a part-time job. But if you want to do it, you can find a way to make it work. Because I always hear that, where do you find time to write? I was like, I don't. I have to make time to write. If I'm waiting for the perfect time to write, I would never get anything done because there's always something vying for your attention.
Adulting stuff.
Yeah.
Grocery shopping, paying bills, right?
Yeah.
Cleaning the house, mow the lawn, whatever, which I don't know if you do it in Georgia because it's 150 degrees.
Yeah. But I've learned to, I can write on my phone.
Which you've done numerous times.
I have a tablet.
Which
that goes with me.
Is over there sometimes.
Yeah,
and you take it with you when you're on the road.
I do, yeah. When I do conventions or events, because if you've ever
time.
Because you're busy, then you're not. Then you're busy, then you're not. And so when you're not and you're sitting there and pull out the tablet, and I have mastered typing with one hand. I can hold the tablet and go, or hold it like this and just use my thumbs. I'm actually quite fast because I've been doing it so long. But it's a way to get the words down. They don't have to be perfect. Writing on my tablet, when I transfer it over to my laptop, I cringe at the number of typos because I'm typing so fast, and I guess I fat finger things. Like I misspell the word the, them, and they every time. Instead of H's, my thumb hits the G instead of the H. So it's TGE, TGEM, TGEAY.
I understood that. Yeah.
But those are there all the time. But I can fix that. I can edit this. I've already written it. Then it's just giving it a pass, editing it, tweaking it. But it's down. You got the thoughts out of your head and down on something. And but the beauty of it is, somebody told me this very early on. I wish I could remember who.
Mm-hmm.
If you get up 1 hour earlier than you normally do, or 30 minutes or whatever, and if you can write 1 page a day, you'll have 365 pages at the end of the year.
You know what? I can't believe, you know what? That I didn't even. It's a valid point.
Yeah, and that is better than a full-length novel.
Darn right it is.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%, because let me tell you, can I tell you a secret about something? So
Sure.
This is what I've been doing recently. I've been doing this within the last week or so. So I have this book, and I was recommended this book by a very good friend of ours, Charles F. Millhouse of Stormgate Press, which, by the way, if you want another set of really good novels, check out Stormgate Press.
He and I are currently writing a book together.
I was going to ask you that, because I was going to drop a little tease that says, well, a little birdie told me that someone named Charles F. Millhouse and Bobby Nash are doing something they've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, they have, but they're teaming up to do something that no one is going to see coming. But I'm just curious. Before I share my secret with you, go into the plug. If you and Charles F. Millhouse are doing something spectacular together, it's real and it's spectacular. So what exactly is it?
Charles and I both have.
He's a great writer,
pilot
great guy.
Yeah, we both have pilot characters that exist in the 30s, 40s, 50s. He has Captain Hawkland adventures. I have Lance Star Sky Ranger, and they're both pilots. They both have these pulpy pilot type adventures. A couple years ago, Charles started Pulp Reality magazine, and we were talking about me doing something. And in our conversation, I mentioned we should team these guys up. They're so similar they're similar from like 10,000 feet. Each one has their own unique things once you get into the characters, but they're both pulpy aviator adventurers. And so Charles loved the idea. And so in Pulp Reality magazine, I wrote a team up where the two characters team up and meet for the first time. In a later issue of the magazine, Charles wrote a team up where they team up again. And so he and I were talking recently, and we thought we should do a third one. Maybe we could come up with something together. And that was the genesis of this, is we got to talking it out, and we both threw out what characters to use, some ideas. Charles had a really good idea that became the basis of the story. And so we talked a bunch of this stuff out. And then this is the part that's really easy for me. Charles went off and wrote it. And then sent it to me, and then I give it my pass, and it goes back to Charles. And so Charles is doing the lion's share of the writing. But we're both having input in how our characters respond to the situation and things like that. And so it's going to be a fun little pulpy sci-fi adventure. And it is almost done. So I'm not sure when we're going to have it out. I'm assuming before the end of the year, but it is coming along quite nicely.
Yeah. I can't. Yeah, I saw the tease, the videos, and you keep passing it off to each other like, oh, Bobby's writing this week, and then Charles is going to write this week, and then Bobby's going to write that. I'm thinking,
and that way we both have, because we each of these are. I mean, we have our own multiple characters in there, and we want to make sure they're right, so we each can go, oh, tweak this, or let him say this instead, or something like that. But that way we're sure how it is. We're sure where they are in the timeline, because we've both kind of got timelines for these guys, because we've written them out of order, just whatever, over the years. So we kind of know where they are and what they're doing, during this time. And this is set during the World War II era. So we know where the guys were, so we can know what's going on. And And it's coming together quite nicely. I'm very impressed, and it's going to be it's fun. We're having fun. Charles and I are buddies. You know, we have a great time working together. We had a great conversation at the beginning of this, how we did it. You know, like you said, you saw the video. We did videos, and so we put together some marketing and promotion and all that stuff. And we're just having fun. I think, you know, and so we're very excited to get it out, and if people like it, maybe we'll team them up a fourth time. So that would be fun too.
Possibilities are endless on Freewheeling Fridays. Don't forget to like and share.
Yes.
And if you're watching this live on a replay, thank you for doing so. If you have any questions for Bobby Nash, the greatest writer of all time, let us.
So your secret. Tell me your secret.
Tell me, yeah, exactly, because Bobby Nash is the greatest.
No, tell me yours. Tell me your secret now.
Yeah. Sorry. I was like, where are we going with this?
Yeah, don't forget. I didn't want you to forget.
Yeah. Eat your Hollywood stories. So what I've been doing recently, because I want to get stuff down on paper. I like writing. I think writing should be fun. I think writing is fun. So what I've done is Charles F. Millhouse recommended a series of books that are considered writing resources. One of those books happens to be something known as 5-Minute Daily Writing Prompts by Tarn Wilson, which you can see here on the bottom of this cover here, if we can see it. There it is. So I've been using this every day. I sit here at my desk, and I don't use my computer when I'm doing this. I'm actually writing this in an actual book, not this book, but something that, Bobby, you presented this to me. It's always word slinging time,
right.
Okay? You know, there's the Wild West where it's like, you're a gunslinger. No, I'm a word slinger. That's what Bobby Nash and I are, right? So,
right.
Bobby, I've taken your writing journal that you presented to me. You sent it over to me, and I said, you know, I want to keep my ideas down in here. I want to write some other things down in here. So I've been using this every day to write these 5-minute writing prompts. Now, I'm not writing for 5 minutes. I'm actually writing for 10, maybe 15 minutes a day. And these are, I go into the book, I pick up writing prompt that I feel like, okay, this one speaks to me. Like I can roll with this one. I like this one. Because you could go at your own pace. You could pick whatever writing prompt. You don't have to go in order. You don't have to go in a certain theme, whatever. Just pick whatever writing prompt you want to do that day that you feel like you want to do. And it works for you. Do what works for you. Okay? Just do what works for you. So I've been taking those writing prompts and I've been writing these things down. This is my chicken scratch. This is how horrible my handwriting is. Yeah. So I have been writing every day for about 10, 15 minutes, sometimes even maybe not something, but once in a while I'll write for 20 minutes a day. And these will fill up probably, let me see, what's the latest one I did was, let me see if I can find it here. 3 pages of this is written in every single day.
Nice.
So when you write in 3 pages, like you were saying, like if you write a page a day, you're going to have 365. Well, if I keep writing in these bad boys,
right, and that's assuming you have, because not everybody can write every day. I mean, let's face it, life gets in the way.
Well, unfortunately, this is my first time, and I'm willing to admit this when I'm wrong. I didn't have time to do my daily writing today because everything was so busy.
But you did some yesterday.
I did.
You're going to probably do some tomorrow, and so there are wonderful little writing prompt groups on social media as well. I've seen a few. Sometimes when you get not stuck is the wrong word, but sometimes you get to a point where you just something's not right with the story. Like I worked on a novel. I was writing this novel. And I was at a point where I just felt like I need a break from the main characters. We need to go away from what they're doing for a minute and then come back. And so I felt if I was feeling that way, the audience is probably going to feel that way. So I wrote this chapter. I started writing it and I introduced a brand new character. I wrote this chapter and I like the chapter. It's really good. And I worked in something that would tie into the main plot. But because I just wasn't feeling the rest of the story at that moment, I needed a break from it. This allowed me to continue to get the creative balls rolling. And then I always figured if this doesn't really fit, I can pull this chapter out. But I needed the break. And so then I go back into the story. 3 chapters later, I realized who that guy was in relation to the story, and his role became very important. But it took me several chapters to realize that. My brain, subconsciously, I knew before consciously I knew. And so sometimes those type of free writing exercises help me. We're working on a friend of mine and I, we are writing a cozy mystery series. Well, we're writing a cozy mystery book. It could be a series. We don't know yet. But when we were pitching and characters to go in this to each other, I sat down and just started writing characters. And like there's one character who I wrote, and I'm writing information about this guy and just writing it free, typing it up real quick. This happens, blah, blah, blah. And like this note is in it and says, and so when we find him dead in book 3, it's because of what we set up here in book 1. And there's a whole note about this book we may never write. But we can start playing with that because the characters, this guy's telling me I'm a bad guy at some point. I'm going to be killed. I'm doing crap that's going to get me killed. And so we had those kind of things start coming out in doing those type of exercises. It helps you open up some creativity and if you write something that turns out to be crap or doesn't work, you can always pull that out and never throw it away. Pull it out, set it off to the side and goes, oh, this is not part of the story. Take this chunk out. You keep going with your story. That chunk you took out may be part of a story down the road. That's how Snow came about. I had these bits and pieces that I've pulled out of other things and just set to the side until I found the right place for them. And so those kind of prompts and tasks and what am I trying to say? Doing those kind of things is for that kind of writing just to get it going can unlock a lot of creative potential in you.
Yeah, and that's what the writer Taryn Wilson put in the introduction to that book. The 5-minute daily writing prompts is to unleash your creativity or to spark inspiration, to help you get out of a bit of a funk if you're in one or whatever. I just listen. I write in it because with any new skill or with any kind of muscle, you need to stretch it. You need to exercise it every single day. So the more I do this, the more my brain is gonna hopefully remember a lot of the ideas that I may have failed to put up there. But here's the thing, though. I got stuff that's one story still needs to be fully edited. Another one is pretty much done, but I want to go back and look at it again because I haven't read it in so long. And then I submitted a Western short story to an anthology. I don't know if it's going to be selected yet. They haven't made their selections yet. They haven't made the formal announcement of who got picked. Hasn't been made yet, so I don't know. We're all in the dark here. We're all in the dark. I have no idea what they're thinking. If my story wasn't good enough, I have no idea. That's up to them, not me.
Well, and you have to realize too. I mean, sometimes just because you don't get picked does not necessarily mean your story's not good.
Yeah, but your mind plays tricks on you.
Sure,
it does that all the time.
Believe me,
and it happens with every single writer on this earth. Let me tell you. But no,
why don't they like me?
Why don't they like me? Why can't we pull a Sally Fields? You like me. You really like me. When she won that Oscar. So if it gets picked up, great. If it doesn't, whatever. I did my best. I threw my name in the hat, and that's all that matters.
But you find the writing prompts are helping you.
To a certain degree, yes. But at the same time, I still need to find the time to actually write my actual stories and not just do these daily exercises. Although they are helpful and they do they help me a little bit. I want to get back to the stuff that I really want to write and get it out in the world because I have this, you got that the rivers are flowing. You just got to find the place of where you're going to unleash the fury.
Well, let me suggest this. You've started with the writing prompts that this author is giving you.
Yeah, which is good.
Your next step, if the writing prompts are helping you, you write the writing prompts based on your characters and your story. And you start with the writing prompt. Snow goes on vacation. You go.
What happens?
So you do that with your character. Blah, blah, blah does this. That's your writing prompt. Then you see where you can take them in that. And then you start using the writing prompts to help you finish those stories that are yours. Because once you've read at this point you've read several writing prompts, so you know what a writing prompt is.
Yeah, I know how they work.
So now you can customize them to your characters and your story and your your book or your universe or whatever, and you can start doing that, and you can still get the benefit of the writing prompt, but you're now, instead of just doing it to get better as a writer, you're doing it to also take care of your character, your project.
He's got, this is why we pay him the big bucks. He's got a point. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Jeff says Robert E. Howard and H.P. Lovecraft both got plenty of rejections back in the pulp days. Shadow over Innsmouth is a masterpiece. I'm not familiar with that one, Jeff. And it got rejected at first. Write what you love always. I agree with you 100% on that part of it, Jeff. But Shadow over Innsmouth, I never heard of that. I have no idea.
That's a biggie. Cujo was rejected over almost 30 times.
Stephen King?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I get rejections today. I mean, it happens. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean they're not bad. It could just be it's not for us,
or it's not the right time.
We don't not feel the right time. Yeah,
it's not ready for this season.
You write. Because also what's popular ebbs and flows.
Well, that's
so if you write something today, that genre is not really hot right now, so we're going to pass. You bring it back to them a year later, they may reconsider. Or it could be any number of things. It could be, I lost out on an X-Files anthology because the editor said, I liked your pitch, but we already had one that was using that, mystical thing you were using. I wrote a time travel story.
Oh, a similar element.
He says, we've already got a time travel story we've accepted, so we can't use 2 time travel stories. So it wasn't that mine was necessarily bad. It just, the timing didn't work. It was, so there's a lot of that goes into it. Yes, our writer brain is going to go, they hate me, but there could be any number of reasons things get picked up or they don't. I got picked up for an anthology one time. I was asked to pitch at a convention. The editor was talking to, there was a bunch of us out eating, and says, hey, we're doing this new anthology. Would you be interested in doing something for it? And I'm like, great. And he goes, you are guaranteed a spot in this. He says, I'm guaranteeing 5 spots, and the rest are going to be an open call. I'm like, okay. I said, now, just out of curiosity, why do I and these other 4 people have a spot? Because I haven't written anything yet. You may hate what I write. He says, if I do, then you'll have to write something else. He says, but I'm picking you 5 for a spot in this anthology because you 5 are known quantities that will get out and promote the book. So you're going to be in the book because I know you're going to promote it. Now, you still got to write something that's good enough to be in the book. But, you're not part of the open call, So sometimes you, even though, I'm not a big name, but because of that, I was a known quantity to that publisher, which helped me get the spot. So a lot of that comes in, writing what you write and all becomes your resume. People get to know you. Ryan meets his deadlines. Ryan is not difficult to work with. Ryan writes good stuff. Ryan, people get to know you. And then they're like, it becomes this thing where down the road at a certain point, a publisher goes, hey, we need a good cowboy story. Hey, Ryan writes good cowboy stuff. Let's get him. So you've started to build your reputation off the work you're doing. And it's not just, is Ryan a good writer? If Ryan is easy to work with, that will make editors want to call you up to do more stuff. If you're a pain in the ass, unless you're selling a ton of books, they might go, who else we got? That kind of thing. So a lot of that goes into how, as you get going and you start establishing yourself, you get callbacks and sometimes you get work offered to you without you going and say, hey, I want to pitch to this anthology. they'll come to you and say, "Hey, we're doing a Zorro anthology. Would you be interested in writing a Zorro?" That kind of thing.
Well, I mean, if I wrote a Zorro story and it became an audiobook, I want Catherine Zeta-Jones to do the narrating. But anyway,
Yeah.
Catherine, do me a favor. Give me a call.
Yeah. That stuff happens, and it didn't happen because I pitched Zorro. I did something else for the publisher.
Right.
And then, it's just a weird. Yeah.
In a way, timing is everything in this business. So
Yes.
you got to go with that too. So speaking of which, since we're running a bit low on time,
Me talk? No.
I know. Well, we're just a wee bit low on time, so I want to get to the meat of the matter here. So, Nowhere to Run is something that's brand spanking new. Which, by the way, this covers intriguing mountaintops. I believe.
Thank you. Yes.
So, what exactly is Nowhere to Run, and how did this come about?
Yes. I'll start with the cover. This cover was an adventure in and of itself. I took all the photos that are in that cover. I went to the mountains. I climbed up in there. I took all of that. That is, it is like, there's like 6 different photos laid in over top of each other. I built all of that from photos I took. Mark Maddox, who is a wonderful artist buddy of mine, helped me with some color correction to give it this nice up here around especially the tops and the storm clouds. He helped me with that. He did a nice job making the colors feel colder. And so but then I designed the rest of the cover and all that, put it together. Nowhere to Run is a survival thriller. It's much like Tom Myers. The main character, U.S. Deputy Marshal William Teague, appeared elsewhere first and kept saying, "When do I get my own book?" William Teague first appears in Evil Intent, which is the sequel to Evil Ways, which also has Tom Myers in it briefly. And so he's in it, and there's a few other characters that were in that book that appear in Nowhere to Run. He also appears in the very first Sheriff Myers novella, In the Wind. So I've established the character that way, and now the character was like, "When do I get my own story?" And when this idea came to me, I realized it was his story. And they've captured. It starts out with him capturing a known hijacker and his crew, and they've got this guy, and the marshals have caught him. They've turned him over to the FBI. The FBI and the task force, they put him on an airplane. So yes, they put a hijacker on an airplane to deliver him to prison, which was never a good idea. And of course, the hijacker has a plan, and the plane goes down and crashes on top of a mountain, very high up, inaccessible from the air. And so Teague, who has done a lot of this outdoor climbing and stuff, is sent to lead the team up to find and rescue them. And hopefully, if the bad guy is running, to catch him. So there's a lot of action. There's a lot of outdoor stuff. I love outdoor stories and man versus nature. And so it's very cold.
Like The Edge with Anthony Hopkins?
To a point. I mean, I don't have a bear attack. I love, like shark movies, I love a good bear attack movie, but I reined myself in.
No bears.
We do talk, well, it's winter too, so we talk about bears, but yeah. Okay. But yeah, so it's so Teague and a local guide go up the mountain, and then there's other stuff. The investigation is going on, and the search grid is happening over here with this, and there's a bunch of stuff going on. But the meat of the story is Teague and Cappy, who is the guide, going up this mountain to try to find the plane, hope they're survivors, and then get off. And of course, the bad guy, like I said, has a plan, so there's trouble on top of the mountain as well. But time is running out because there is a massive storm on the way. And if the storm hits while they're still on the mountain, they are stuck on the mountain with a killer. So there's a lot of action and rushed, and we got to do it in a hurry. We got to get up there. We got to get down, and we got to, it was fun to write. I had a blast doing it. My original plan, I was going to do these like Snow and Sheriff Myers, was going to do them as novellas, a novella series, until we talked earlier about the price being difficult for that. So I turned it into a full-length novel. Because there were things I was having to keep it at the novella size. Information was coming to him just from off camera. Someone would say, "Hey, we found out this." And so now I could actually show the investigation and them finding things and getting information in and out. So, it's a fun action-filled ride, and I'm happy with it. I hope readers will as well. I have an idea for a second one with Teague, and would love to be able to do it. So hopefully people will like it. It goes on sale August 1st worldwide. There's going to be ebook, paperback, and hardcover. Hopefully we can get an audiobook down the road. And then right now we're doing the Kickstarter launch event where you can get the book along with some swag. And I got some here. Actually, you'll be the first to see this.
Oh my goodness, I gotta see it.
Yes. So we're going to have some bookmarks, which will be in there.
I love it.
These are the uncut sheets. Yeah, and so it's the same thing. Yeah, like this is on the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Wits End is a place that is in the book.
Oh, that's funny. It's a play on a wit. I'm at my wit's end. Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
There's actually, and I based it. There is not far from where I live. There is a hotel old motel called the Wits End.
Wow.
Yeah, Wits End. And then there's here Black Mountain Pass is the name of the fictional valley at the bottom of the mountains.
I love it.
It's 4 mountains, and then Black Mountain Pass is in the bottom. Gotcha. And then of course I've got this one, which is just a generic type of.
To promote the book
with the cover and some more, the
promotional materials,
the promotional blurbs, and so those are this is the first time anyone has seen these. So.
And by the way, they all look great. I just want to say that
for
the record, they all look great. And some of the other, by the way, we took the liberty of posting the link to the Kickstarter in the comment section of this video. So I want you guys to check out the link, go to the Kickstarter, back this man's Kickstarter, because Bobby, like I said. Yeah, Bobby Nash
to the 20th.
Runs to the 20th of July, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and like I said before, Bobby Nash is the GOAT. He is the greatest of all time. And the Snow series is the best series of all time. So anything this man writes, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to read the heck out of it. Why? Yeah. Because it's fun, and he makes it action-packed, but also tense.
And this, it's
just good stuff.
It is the same universe as Snow.
It is
because in the Wind book, the Sheriff Myers book, Teague meets Mac, who is Snow's best friend for the first time.
Oh, that's right.
And Teague works for Mac's grandfather.
Yep.
Who was established in a previous book.
In a previous novel.
And if I get to do a second one, the plan is for Mac to show up in it as well. I've got a loose plot. The plan for book 2, if it happens, is called Copperhead Run.
Oh my gosh!
I did a in the back of the book. I did like a teaser ad. Wait, here we go.
Where is that?
There we go. It's just generic, but that's.
Oh, there you go.
Copperhead Run would be 2. Yeah. So, but it's we got hardcover.
Which looks great, by the way.
Thank you. There's the paperback,
which also looks really good.
And Amazon just went to this new groundwood paper.
Groundwood. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying that. It's got more of a feel like a newsprint, almost like an old pulp or a comic book.
Really?
But yeah, it looks great. I mean, it prints well.
Oh, it looks. Oh,
and,
I see that.
And so, but it's a nice
texture.
Yeah, a little textured paper. So, which is a little cheaper, which allows us to keep the price down a little.
There you go.
Whereas most of my novels have to be around 20. Mm-hmm. We're doing the paperback for like 17, so we're saving a little money. So we're trying to pass that along
That's good.
to readers so they can get the book at a lesser price. And so I'm thrilled with it. I'm hoping the audience will like it. Teague is a fun character. I would love to see him again. And like I said, there's several characters who were part of the task force and Evil Intent are still part of the task force. So there's several characters that it's their second appearance. So yeah, it's I love this idea of it being one big universe, so I can do stuff like that. And there's one or two characters that tie it all together, like higher ups in the FBI and the CIA and the Justice Department. There's those guys who can appear, and because I've built this world and like this administration, and there's this guy and that guy, and I was like, I don't need to invent the wheel every time. I can reuse some of those folks. So because I'm creating another book, I'm in the very early stages of now, that would be a new character but still part of this world. And so like the head FBI special agent in charge who was in Evil Intent, who is in here, would also be in there. So they're all part of the same world, where those guys would run into each other in small parts. So I love that. That's fun. Those little Easter egg connectivity things. When I did the pulp stuff, I was doing that all the time. I created 3 mob families. And because, pulp guys fought mobsters a lot. So instead of creating a new mob family every time I wrote a pulp story, I just had 3. And so I would continue to use those 3. So if you read all of my old pulp stuff, there's a mob war going on through all of them that I wrote out of order. And we find out who wins in the second Snow book in the modern day, because only one of those families is left. So those are things, if you've not read all of my stuff, it doesn't hurt anything. You don't, but if you've read a bunch of stuff, then you start to notice them, and then they're nice little Easter eggs for readers who have read a lot of the stuff. So those are fun. And those are fun for me, playing with those kind of, Easter eggs here and there.
Yeah. And congratulations on the Kickstarter. Congratulations on this story. Yeah. Nowhere to Run reminds me, I'm getting a few different vibes here. One is Vertical Limit meets Cliffhanger meets Air Force One because of the plane thing, even though
the plane thing, yeah.
Yeah, the plane thing, the Air Force One. I'm actually
it's a small plane.
Very small plane compared to the other one, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and there's a little Passenger 57 because it's the hijacker.
That's another one, Passenger 57.
I was going to say, I did steal the line. You put a hijacker on a plane.
Yeah.
I actually do have reference. It's like, have you guys never watched a freaking movie? So yeah, but I, well, you know what they say. There are no brand new ideas. Every plot been done
inspired by something or a ripoff
right.
of something, which I don't care.
Yeah, but it's how each writer approaches it that makes
their own stamp on it. Yeah, which I don't mind, by the way.
Yeah, and so, but I love the idea of, like I said, I'm a big fan of the people versus nature,
man versus nature. Yeah.
A
little bit. I'm getting a little bit of the edge. I mean, even though the bear's not involved, I'm still getting a little bit of the edge vibe.
But that same feeling, you're up in the mountains, you're climbing, and you don't have all your, There's also a great movie that I'm just blanked on the title that was also partly inspiring of this. It had Sidney Poitier and Tom Berenger, and they're chasing a killer up a mountain who has joined a hiking group. And Kirstie Alley, it's one of her earliest movies. She's the leader of this hiking group. And it's got all of these, everybody in the hiking group are played by actors that play bad guys. So you don't know, like normally a lot of times you see, oh, this guy's in the movie. He's the bad guy.
Is it Shoot to Kill?
Shoot to Kill. Thank you. Yes. Love that movie.
There it is.
And so it's got like Clancy Brown and Andrew Robinson, a bunch of guys like that. And it's like, so it's really cool that smartly, because you don't immediately figure out because one of the hikers is the villain, but you don't know which one because all of the actors are guys that play villains. And so,
oh wow,
they've kind of circumvented because you know how it is. Sometimes you see a certain actor, he's the bad guy. Whether no matter how much of the movie you've seen, if this guy's in there, he's the bad guy. And so they kind of worked around our expectations that way. But it's a fun movie. It's a chase movie through mountains, and I love that. I love that movie. And so there's some bits of that of just we got to get up the mountain quick. And like you say, vertical limit. There's a time crunch of we've got to get up here by this time.
Get this team out of here, or figure out what's going on. Yeah, or we're gonna die.
They're up there in sub-zero temperatures with no food.
They're at the vertical limit, 23,000.
Yeah. So those kind of time things too adds a little anxiety to the characters. We've got to go, and and then of course the mountain doesn't make it any easier. The storm's coming in, all these things, and they're just fun to write. And you just seeing the characters battle against the elements and try to go to a place that if it doesn't want them. I mean, the mountain doesn't care whether you are safe getting up it or not. The mountain doesn't care. So it was fun. It was fun to do. I enjoyed it immensely. And so we'll see.
Absolutely. Yeah. Congratulations on that. Yeah. Once again, the link is in the comments so people can check it out. Back it. Let's get them over the hump.
I think when I checked it earlier today, it was $85 shy of meeting the goal. So.
Yep. 415 out of 500. Yeah. Which is good and some of the other things that you threw in there are not just those bookmarks that you mentioned. You're also going to do some special bookmarks that you draw or put together yourself, which by the way, that's another thing that's so good about Bobby Nash. Not only is he a great writer, he's also a really good artist. So,
there'll be an original art bookmark, and I'll do it on the envelope. I draw on the outside of the envelope or on a paper that I'll tape to the box. And so, so you get some original art. You're going to get some other stuff I throw in. Everybody's going to get a copy of the ebook. Which
is great.
I'm also, I've thrown in Evil Intent and In the Wind for people that want to get the whole, all of his appearances. They're in there. There's an ebook one. You can get them all in paperback so there's multiple tiers of whatever anybody wants. And if Kickstarter is not your thing, it will be on sale. Like I said, August 1st, worldwide. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the usual places. Me at conventions or from my website.
Right.
I mean, I do that all the time. People will just go, hey, I want to get this book. And I'm like, I'll sign it and send it to you. Same price, just you pay shipping.
Yeah, which, send me that writing journal when on the inside of it says to Ryan, keep on word slinging Bobby Nash.
Yeah.
Which
I'm glad you're getting used to it. You're the only person I've talked to that used it.
Okay, because other people who've bought it have not used it yet. That's crazy.
Well, if they have, they haven't told me.
Okay, so, if anyone else is starting using a writing journal, which by the way, writing journals are important. Try to keep one for yourself. And if you want to purchase one, send this man an email. Send him a message because Bobby will take care of you. He's very good.
Yep, I've got some. I've got a few left, and then they're on Amazon as well. And
see,
so yeah.
Bobby Nash, very, very good to me. This episode of Freewheeling Fridays, very, very good to me. Which, by the way, as a bit of a last minute thing, we have to wrap it up here. Plus, I'm tired and I've been up since 4:30 this morning.
So I got to get up early in the morning.
I don't have to get up early in the morning like I normally do because I don't have a show tomorrow at 12 like I normally do. I have one at 7 that night, so I can sleep in tomorrow, Bobby. I'm sorry.
I have one. I'm doing a panel presentation for the Sisters in Crime tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
Oh my gosh. Oh, good Lord. Well, I'll do my best to get you out of here as soon as possible. So my final question, before we ask you to do your plugs, one final question I have is when it comes to the snow series, do you have plans for somewhere down the line to potentially do another round of snow shorts?
I would like to. And I've talked to some other writers. The only problem is they didn't sell. So
that's a bummer.
So I have trouble.
I thought they were great.
The people that have got them seem to enjoy them.
I think they're great.
My problem is it's hard to go, hey, you want to write something for me? It's not going to sell. You're not going to make any money.
Yeah, that's rough.
So yeah, it's I don't know why, but yeah, they just you never know. Yeah, they did not sell well. And I hate asking people to do free work. That's kind of why I smartly went to a bunch of writing friends. So if this happened, I knew they wouldn't like be super pissed. But it's I had a blast with it because it was great seeing how other writers interpreted the characters.
Yeah, Charles wrote one. Brian K. Morris
Yep.
wrote one.
Yeah. Yeah, there were 9 total. I wrote 3 of them because I wrote one for each book they were in. And so there were 6 other stories. Like I said, I'd love to do more, but I don't know. We'll see. I've thought about the idea of maybe, since I'm going to novels, I've thought about the idea of maybe just getting 1 per novel in the back. So I may do that. I don't know. That's still a way off. I still have to write the last novella before I can worry about the first novel.
Right.
But there's ideas for stuff like that. I enjoy them. I enjoy seeing others, give their take on it. It was fun. It was great working with writer friends, and so that's fun. And most of these people are people I had either, I've worked on their characters before, so there's a lot of that. We've done stuff together, or for the same books and same publishers and types of stuff. So it was fun seeing how each of them interpreted what we were doing, and seeing what other people think of my characters. Because I remember telling people I was terrified when I first started the idea of the snow shorts, because one, what if nobody wants to write my characters? Then secondly, what if they write my characters better than I do? And so those were some of my fears, but there are also some wonderful unexpected consequences. There were things in some of the stories that made me go, "Ooh, I'm going to play with that later." Gary Phillips wrote a Big John Salmon story, and there's a bit where he and Archer are talking, and the way they reacted and talked to each other, and how they called each other, what they called each other, and all that stuff was different than how I had it, but I loved it. And so I started incorporating some of those, the way he had them talk to each other, into stories down the road. So yeah, so I learned a lot too that way. Snow's mom makes her first appearance in Nicole's story, Nicole Givens Kurt's story. I had only mentioned his mother before. I had never written her. And so, but she pitched an idea that I loved. I thought it was a great idea. And so we just made it a point to I would give her notes on what I thought the mother would be, and we kind of took it from there. So someone else wrote his mother's first appearance. So yeah, it's fun.
Gotcha. Anything is possible, folks. Appreciate you joining us for this episode of Freewheeling Fridays. Bobby, thank you so much for being here, taking time.
My pleasure.
Schedule, because you're a very busy man. You do 50 shows a week. You do 10 podcasts a week. You do 5 book shows a week. I don't know how you do it.
I try to sleep every once in a while.
But you know what they say, right? Sleep is for the weak. And the words of the James Bond movie, you'll have plenty of time to sleep when you're dead.
Yeah. So, yeah, because it's like tomorrow I've got two online well, I'm doing them both from home, panels, but I have 2 online presentations with 2 different groups.
See, there you go.
But I also between doing this and then the adulting stuff we have to do, and then the art, I usually do the art at night, and then I work in acting gigs when I can. So so my days are really weird, and because a lot of time the acting stuff, you don't have a lot of opportunity to plan for it. It's like, hey, we need you tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, or it's so you kind of have to juggle a good bit. And I can't talk about it yet, but I just worked on a wonderful TV show for I'm only in a couple of scenes, but it was a fun gig. It's important to the scene, it's important to the story. I have I played just a one role for one episode, and it was a blast. And I can't tell what it is yet, but I'm so excited next year when it comes out to talk about it. So it was one of those. It's based on something I loved. I've loved growing up watching, or seeing. And so yes, I was thrilled to get the call. That was fun. So yeah.
Look at you. Just keep on working. Well, if someone wants to know more about you and buy copies of your books, especially that writing journal, where can they follow you specifically on social media as we're wrapping up here?
Oh, sure. Well, BobbyNash.com is my website, and the links to everything is there under the links tab. But I'm author Bobby Nash on Facebook. I'm Bobby Nash on Twitter, X, whatever it is. I'm Bobby Nash Writes on Instagram and Threads, and Bobby Nash. I think it's Bobby Nash Writes Blue Sky as well. I have a Pinterest page. I have a Patreon page, Patreon/Bobby Nash. There's a Substack page, which I'm blanking on the address because it's still new. It may be Bobby Nash Writes as well, but I just started that like a couple weeks ago. So I'm all over the place. Hit me up, say hello.
All good things. Thank you, sir, for being here. Appreciate it. You're the man. Keep up
pleasure.
Keep up the good work. You're a badass mamma jamma. That's all I'll say about that. Thank you, Bobby. My name is Ryan. If you care to know about some of the things I do around here, follow me across all forms of social media, simply at And I Quote channel. That's where you can catch my show And I Quote on Saturdays, where I interview some of the best creators from all over the world. Saturdays, 12 p.m. EST. Then we do movie watch-alongs, where we celebrate a movie that's turned a certain age that week or that month. We just celebrated the 40th anniversary of Aliens, Bobby Nash. Aliens with Sigourney Weaver, directed by James Cameron this week. So make sure you go back and check out that episode. That was a lot of fun. Jeff Pitabana says, good to see you boys. Great conversation. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. We appreciate you, man, because you know your stuff. And we thank all of you for tuning in, watching this live on a replay, or commenting down below. We appreciate all of it. We'll see you again soon for Freewheeling Fridays, every other Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Do not forget to check out all the shows we're doing. Do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when the videos go up or they go live. And remember, life is better when supporting indie creators from all over the world. Catch you on the flip side. And remember, all you got to do in life is take a look. It's in a book.
If you missed the live viewing of any Meg production, you can find all our content on Roku or as a member of this channel. Madness Entertainment Group.